You see, on a good day, see, if you say, do you believe in God? Well, first of all, I'll say, well, what do you mean by you, God, and believe? I can just about handle the do and in.
That's a good refuge.
And then I'll say, well, on a good day, yes. How you get from there to the God of faith is difficult. I prefer, being the kind of person I am, to just keep it simple, stay at that very abstract level.
At the heart of what I see the Christian faith as being about is a simple statement that isn't simple about the Son of God incarnate. Now, I'm aware...
Yeah, it's a very not simple statement.
It's a very not simple statement. But I'd like to ask you to look at that statement in what's done here, what's said here, what's sung here, in what we've been doing today.
Yep. Indeed.
Because I think that's what we would say we're about.
I have been thinking about, this whole business of Jesus Christ, human God. How do you kind of get your head around that? Which, of course, is the heart of the Christian faith, and just happens to be the bit that I have the most difficulty with. What Mark is probably wanting me to do is actually stop sitting on the fence and come down one side or the other. And I've got used to sitting on the fence. And yeah, so I'm squirming a bit already.
See, look at him, really keen, really keen.
I'm not really keen, I just don't want to pull a muscle.
This is a jog, Tony, not a sprint.
Is that your life philosophy?
Pace yourself. You've got eternity to get there.
It's no coincidence that the longest chapter in Benedict's rule is about humility.
What are you bringing with you, for goodness sake?
It's my little FM radio.
You don't listen to music. This is a run, man. You're not here.
Of course you listen to music. It gives you...
We don't need
makes
that.
you thrust forward.
You've got this beautiful landscape.
It's when I can't be bothered to talk to you lot anymore.
Okay.
Anyway, let's go.
If the monastic community is to flourish, each monk must learn to be truly humble before God, ridding himself of ego, arrogance and pride. After just 10 days together, the new arrivals are struggling to live up to Benedict's ideal.
I just find that Anthony holds almost everything back. I haven't really got anything to say to him because I can't engage with him on any kind of emotional level. I mean, Anthony talks a lot about money and the fantastic bars in Mayfair that he drinks in, and his car and his wealthy friends and polo matches he goes to, and money is clearly Anthony's God. I do wonder why he's here or what he's trying to find.
What's your first sort of response to the word humility? Is it something that you have thought about? Perhaps it is, perhaps it isn't.
I've been to rehab and done a year and was doing wonderful in my life, and the pride rose up within me. I thought, I've made it. You know what, my life is back together. And I walked out the door, and within a period of time, I hit the deck, big time.
But isn't that something also, is disciplining yourself and a bit of strength, to have a bit of belief?
What I'm trying to say is, you are fortunate that you have a strong whatever you've got to say no to yourself not to do that there. I don't know exactly how you feel inside when you mess up or have a mistake, but I know that how I feel when I feel...
Yeah, but I'm also not somebody who's been completely teetotal all my life. Yeah. I got involved in many things, but there came a time in my head when I knew I didn't want to do it anymore.
You may have strength, but you will never have 100% strength. There will always be the potential for weakness.
You have the power to say no.
You have the power.
Nobody stops you from saying no.
No, of course.
That is your will.
Yeah,
nobody stops
just say no, kids. Fine, but...
Sorry. Anyway,
yeah.
no more.
See, sorry, just to say, sometimes you can become very black and white, you know, if it's not this, then it has to be that there. But
well, I don't see the world black and white. I see the world in a very panoramic way.
Yeah,
Some people see it very like this.
yeah.
I see it like this.
But I used to see it
but
like
I just
that.
don't think that I have to give you all of the information
No, you
straight
don't.
away. I think I drip feed you basically, so you can. You know, if I give you all of this information at once, then because you've got your own stuff to deal with, I'm putting a whole load of weight on top of you basically. So I prefer to give you it in small details.
You might be quite closed about the actual specific reason why you're here up to this point, up to 10 days in, but you are very open about who you are, who you see, where you go, what you own.
Okay, yes, I bought my house a little while ago. I deal with lawyers. Okay, I make enough money to survive. But yeah, they're just things that generally come out. I'm not telling something that's not true.
But you're missing the point. I'm not begrudging you. I'm not begrudging you anything.
But it seems like
what
that.
I'm saying is...
But it seems like, and it's because of the way you're directing the question at me.
What I'm directing...
There is a way of putting a question, and there is a way of putting a question, and the way you're putting it...
Well, I apologise for my, you know,
no, please don't.
My crude technique.
Not if you don't mean it.
But the question I'm asking you is, right, we're here for spiritual reasons, right? So far, after 10 days of being here, I've got spirituality off everybody else apart from you. And I can probably feel like I can empathise and know you a lot better from the last 10 minutes than I can from the last 10 days. And I'm saying that's a good thing. Good. All I'm asking you is, why did you feel that you couldn't be a little bit more open and a little bit more honest from the word go?
Because it takes me time to trust you enough to give you that information. And I just think that sometimes I'm aware of that I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, or I'm in the community, you know, wherein I need to be sensitive to how other people feel. I just sometimes think that you're not. You have to be sarcastic, you're cracking jokes and think, do you know, is it necessary? Okay, other people might not be offended by it, but I get offended by it because I just think, you know what, if turn the clock around and let somebody do that to you, how would you feel, basically?
Yeah, well, I don't want you to think I'm confrontational, B, insensitive, because those are two things which deep down I really am not, and I know sometimes that that's the impression I can give. So, you know, I'd like to put that to one side.
Well, then let's put it to the side and move forward.
Okay.
Drink of water after that.
Humility.
Well, it's interesting it came up in that context somehow. Somehow that was perhaps. And in a sense you want to just sort of carry on talking, and in a sense I just want to sit quietly, you know, and just say that was holy ground. That was holy ground.
I know that I can walk into a room and try and take control and try and lead it from the first second. And I think there's a tendency that you know that you're doing it, but you can also feel that maybe you're getting away with it. Whereas he's seen that as just an expression of ego, and he's seen that as a negative thing and quite a self-absorbed thing in my character, which I secretly know to be kind of the truth, I suppose. So he did open up, you know, an old wound as far as kind of sussing me out a bit. Well, it's certainly a lesson in humility, which is ironically what the whole hour was about, you know. And if I'm gonna have to try not to be that domineering personality if I'm gonna learn any sense of humility at all.
Despite having got his point across, Anthony is upset by the realization of how others in the group see him.
Today I was very sad. Sad? Yeah, I still feel it, actually. I actually didn't really want any part of this anymore, to be honest and truthful.